All right, gang, we are at the end of our time here in Partworks. So at this point, we have gone through the setup of Partworks and taking that DXF file from Onshape and bringing it into the program, and then creating our Toolpaths. Now we need to go ahead and save our work for exporting it to the CNC machines. So two things. There's two different ways we save here in class for Partworks. One is just simply a file save as, and this is going to be something that you should probably save to a folder that you should generate for this class. So I'm looking for my documents here. I have my Mat2 folder, and in here I would put in folding table and drawing or Partworks, probably leg. Yeah. So folding table leg file or something of that nature. So just remember, where you save things, and that's really important. So file type here is a vcarve or a CRV file. That just simply means carve, and this is not the file that gets exported to the CNC through our flash drives. So just keep that in mind. If you need to go back and edit though, this is where we would do that, in our carve or CRV file. So make sure you save it to somewhere where you're going to remember, not to a downloads folder on the computer. So let's go ahead and hit save there. And next we're going to go ahead and save our two things that we generated in this project for our legs, and that would be our pocket and profile toolpaths. So we have both of these. We're going to check mark them because we want to save both of those. And we're going to click the Save Toolpath icon under Toolpath Operations. Notice I'm not going back to drawing. I'm staying over here in the Toolpath side of things on the right side of the screen. So this little thing that looks like a floppy disk, this is called Save Toolpath. Here is how we're going to save your toolpath that is going to generate the code that the CNC machine reads and put that onto our flash drives here in class. So we'll hit Save Toolpath, and when we do this, notice that only one of them shows up, only one of the toolpaths shows up. So we're going to go ahead and check mark the box that says output all visible toolpaths to one file. So when you check that, you'll see that both of them show up, and they show up in the order that you created them. So pocket was the first thing we created, then we created the profile toolpath, and that's exactly how we see it here, which means that when this goes to machine, it's going to create it's going to cut out the pockets first, then it's going to cut out the profile second. And why is this important? I think it's because when students go to start the machines and they're like, oh, this isn't what I expected, realize that this is how the way we save something is the way the computer then reads the file to cut out those parts that we're making here in class. So now we have that check marked. We're going to scroll down, if it lets me. There we go. And we're going to scroll down to post processor here, and you want to make sure that you have this under inch. So remember, our first unit under the job setup, that was looking at inches as well. So millimeters, not something that we're going to see here in this class. We're only going to work in inches. If you accidentally deal with millimeters here, what's going to happen is you're going to get an error message at the machine. It's going to probably tell you to go back and resave. Or if it doesn't tell you to resave, I will. So you want to make sure that you take the time now to read over, look over everything. Post processor should say inches, and now we can go ahead and save toolpath. Now, once you do this, this is where you're going to need to find on the computer the flash drive. So this is something you'll have to come ask me for, but each of the flash drives will have so we have 3 different flash drives we'll use in class, number 1, 2, and 3, and each of the flash drives will have a folder on there called Mat2 Block 1, and this is where we'll save our work. So right now I'm in my Mat2 folder for this class. I would need to find the flash drive. It'll probably be called Store and Go. That's usually what the name of the flash drive comes up as on our laptops, and we're going to go ahead and save that on the flash drive, and you should probably put a file name in there that's different than what appears originally. So Pocket 1 really doesn't tell us much. What I would say is I would include your name, because we're going to drop these files onto the computer, and we want to make sure that we know what's what. So Pratt folding table legs. That's going to tell me exactly what's being cut out. I also would recommend you put in the name of the bit, nmil 0.25. Why am I telling you to do that? All right, first off, for this project, everybody's using nmil 0.25, but in later projects, there's a chance that you might be doing something different than somebody else. Even though you're making similar projects, it's always a good idea to name the file as your name, the part that's being cut out, and the bit that's being used. It's going to help you in the long run as you begin to set up the machine and figure out, okay, what am I supposed to be doing again here? Look at the file name. It's going to tell you exactly what needs to happen there. So changing bits out possibly, or getting ready to set up and running right away. So there you go. That's exactly what's going to happen as far as saving your file in Partworks. At this point now, we're ready to roll on the CNC machines. If you have any questions, feel free to come talk to me, or we can have you talk to your classmates, your group members, and figure out if there's any problems or issues. We can go from there. And don't forget, you can always look back at these videos again time after time and pause them when you're at certain steps in the process. Okay, that's all I have to share with you at this point. Go ahead and start working on your projects if you haven't already, and I look forward to seeing your progress here in class. Have a great day, everybody.